All right, we're going to do some rapid fires. I was going to do a heap of questions for you guys this week and then went through them, and there's just so many saying, do I pick this guy or this guy? This or that, this or that. So Timmy's throwing together a list based on those questions of just guys that we're going to go rapid fire, and he's going to touch on most, so I'm going to chime in. We'll try and do these quickly. Fullbacks, we didn't pick one here. If Turbo's fit there round one, pick him. Teddy, we think you're very bold not to go for him.
Yeah, so the way I've structured these is, it's my list, so I've gone as much as I can around probably the dilemmas that I have around each position in the head-to-head ones, but I've also gone around popular players, highly owned, that I know people are having these issues with their teams. So, and fullback, I can't seem... I'm not looking anywhere outside of Teddy and Turbo, so I couldn't really justify, or I wouldn't have an argument either way if we put them up against Drink. I tried to say, Teddy v Drinkwater or something, but it's just Teddy for me.
Yeah. Centre wings, Toto versus Val. Who do you like?
I like Toto. Val's not in my team at the moment. It's killing me. I said I've got 300k in the bank. I was just short of putting Thompson to Val Holmes at my CT dub, so... hence the spot in the cap. Look, I've got Toto. I just think we know what we're going to get from Penrith. They do have a tougher draw, but his work rate is immense. If we're going head-to-head and we said who averages more in the first 5 weeks, I'd probably say Val Holmes because of the softer draw, but Toto's also a lot cheaper.
Yeah,
so when we talk about each player coming up now, it's very much at value point as well, and who's better value to start the season, and I think Toto.
I'll be starting with both of them, is my plan. I want both of them. 2 guys that I don't want, Suaalii versus Staggs, but a lot of people are having this conversation.
What if you had to pick between Toto and Val?
I'm going to pay the little bit extra for Val.
Okay. Suaalii and Staggs. Last time I checked this, Suaalii was the second highest owned, I suppose, mid-tier to premium CT dub, hence why he's on this list. And I was looking for that sort of 500k range player to put into my team, and I think a lot of people would be similar to partner with, say, Toto and Val, or Toto or Val at CT dub. If you didn't have the concern of owning too many Roosters, which a lot of people do, and I certainly do, I think Joseph Suaalii, with that really nice start the first 2 rounds for the Roosters, particularly the Dolphins round 1, I would be going Suaalii, but I have my reservations around that. Kotoni, Staggs, I just can't trust him anymore, mate. I've lost faith.
No, I understand that. I would probably go with Suaalii, just hoping that he scores tries on that Roosters edge. Averaged 25 base stats last year. That will drop at centre, so you're going to need him to collect more tries this year.
It will, but 25 bases... realistically pretty trash anyway, so it shouldn't drop too much. Even if it drops to 20, that's 5 points per game sort of thing.
I think it'll drop more than that, but we'll see.
Sub 20 is like, mate, pull your finger out of your ass.
All we've done is compliment him on how good his kick returns are, 25 and base.
Yeah, that's
what I think. I'm confident he goes under 20 base stats this season if he's playing left centre.
Yeah, which is... you're entirely attack reliant.
Yeah, and I think there could be a number of times, as we know the way that Teddy likes to ball play, that he might not get as much ball as what we're anticipating at centre, and I think he will be double marked constantly. Yeah. So I don't like Staggs either.
Which is going to open up space for who exactly?
Daniel Tupu, potentially.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So these two, I understand why people are looking at them. There's a lot of promise there, but I don't know. I think we've been hurt enough personally. 5'8", I think this is the best of the bunch. Burton versus Adam Doueihi. I have been very, very high on Burton the entire time. I'm starting to see the positives of Doueihi, but if Burton isn't goal kicking this weekend, I think that makes the decision for you. But I'm still leaning towards Burton, especially after just seeing how Canterbury played the other day without him. I'm excited. Where are you leaning?
Yeah, if Burto didn't goal kick, I'd probably put a line through him. I mean, I definitely would, actually. I'm still very 50-50 on this. I think I said early on in the preseason it was, what was it? Yeah, head said Doueihi, heart said Burton, and it hasn't sort of changed from that. Reading into all the stats, looking at stats when blokes return from ACL injuries, courtesy of the great man NRL Physio, and then the year after that, their upside and their Supercoach ticking upside. It all leads to Doueihi. I just love what I'm seeing at the Doggies this season. All the hype coming out of that club, what we saw in the first week trial, albeit against a weaker Raiders outfit. You know, we've mentioned this a lot, but I think his combination with Kickout's just going to hold up defenders. Birdo's just going to show and go, and I think he's going to score a stack of tries in that exact fashion. So to split them, I don't have an answer for you.
The beauty about, as you said, I completely agree with everything you said about Kickout, but I think that as a combination of two, I think that Burton and Josh Adokar is also probably the most dangerous in the competition. So it's not like you can double team Kickout and leave Fox. So it creates a lot of space for him.
I'll go with my gut and not my head, and I'll say Burton.
Yeah.
As I said, I think I like what the Dogs are doing.
I also think Burton, and I've said it a few times this off-season, I love young guys coming back from a World Cup.
Yeah.
I think he's going to gain so much from that. Mate, halfbacks, I might hand this to you to get your thoughts on these guys because there's a couple of dot points there, and it's 3 dot points, Walker versus Void, Hynes versus Cleary, Walker/Boyd versus Hynes, which is what everyone's discussing in their own heads. Everyone will, as confusing as that is, everyone will understand it. What are you thinking?
Yeah, so the first one is, all right, if we're anti-podding Cleary or Hynes, first things first, there's not a chance that I would anti-pod Cleary. In my team, locked and loaded, there's a round 3 bye. I understand the argument for, you get the extra game of Hynes in those first 3 rounds, but Cleary locked into my side. So if you are anti-podding, say, Nicho Hynes, it becomes Sammy Walker v Tanah Boyd, and we'll get to the hookers soon. Tanah Boyd is dual, but if you don't want to pick Tanah Boyd at hooker, which I don't have him there at the moment, I've got him at half. I just think for me, it's probably the price point at about $200K cheaper, Tanah Boyd, along with the fact that I already have a few too many Roosters in my team that I'm just concerned about that round 4 bye and having too many guns out of my side. And you don't want to tear your team apart around a bye and worry too much about one bye round. But at the same time, I also don't want to drop 300 points on people in that single round. So I'm very conscious of that. I love the upside to Sammy Walker. The upside to Sammy Walker is far higher than Tanah Boyd. After the Roosters' first 2 rounds, their draw becomes quite tough. The Titans have a much easier draw to start the season, so I've got Tanah Boyd in my team ahead of Sammy Walker at the moment. It could change if, say, I dropped Daniel Tupu, which is very possible. Come round 1, maybe that'll allow me to go Sammy Walker, but it's Tanah Boyd for the moment. Then we go Tanah Boyd v Nicho Hynes. This one comes down to how your team's structured. Where are you spending up your money? Where are you saving money? I just can't quite justify the extra $550,000 to Nicho Hynes with a really tough first 3 rounds. As I said, Titans with that soft draw. Boyd also goal kicking. Essentially, for Nicho Hynes to hurt you off the back of an 86-point average last year, he needs to average about 100 over the first 3 to 5 rounds, which I'm backing him not to do, at least in the first 3 rounds. I'm hoping that there can be a bit of a gap there, a smaller gap between Boyd and Hynes first 4 rounds. The Sharks play the Dragons in round 4. That one concerns me as a non-Nicho owner, but I'm thinking round 5, Tanah Boyd to him there.
Love it. All right, 2 RFs. Garner v Wilton, a very interesting one. I believe you spoke about this a little bit on the playbook last night. Where did you sort of settle on?
Garner.
Yep.
I just think he's in a prime position there. This is based on them being 80 minutes each. They both could quite easily be 60-minute forwards with, Sorensen or Hoskins, Wade Graham coming onto the role. But based on them being 80 minutes, I just think we've seen Garner kill it in the past at the Tigers. He now goes to a gun side now, running off probably Jerome Luai and maybe Nathan Cleary. Either or, not going to be a bad place to be. Teig Wilton was good in 60 minutes last year, but he really needs the 80. I'm just a Luke Garner man.
If Wilton does get the 80, looking at his 80-minute games last year, 85, 77, 54, 54, 68, 102, 36, and then a 76 game to finish the season. Scored a lot of tries in those games, but I think that's who Wilton is.
So he averaged 68 in those 7 games, those 80-minute games, with 4 tries. But you're right, it's like he may be semi-try reliant, and there might be scores of 40 to 45 there, but games where he does J tries, they might be 90s. If that balances out to a 60, 65 average, then I'm okay with that.
I also think with Wilton, I think we know who he is. Garner, we know he's a good footballer, but I'm worried, and we'll know on Saturday, hopefully, that he could just become that best decoy in rugby league. So it's a watch to see what happens there, which is a bit of a pain in the ass because we won't see Dill Edwards. So we might not have the full understanding of that side. So, yeah, it's going to be, well, I reckon that'll be a very close one. And I think if people can't have both of them, which one you choose could be important this year. I think it will be. Front row forwards, mate. Cotter, Tapine, the two fucking weapons here. I'd probably lean towards Cotter, to be honest with you. I don't know if Tapine is going to be able to do what he did last year. All signs so far point to he will. Fuck, it's a high ceiling to keep consistent for a long time.
I've got Cotter at the moment. The more I think I'm pretty confident I'm going to stay that way. I'm just hoping early in the season that Tapine, I know there's residual fitness from the World Cup, but just getting hotter weather, hopefully some fewer minutes early on in the season, he builds into that big game time. I just look at it and I think Cotter's one who playing a little bit injured last season. I'm hoping he can increase on his 59 minutes per game to that 65 to 70 mark. He's such a gun. Had 1 try and 1 try assist all last season. I'm certain that he improves on that. While we shouldn't rely on it when we're looking at front rows because, it is rare. But then I put it all together and I'm like, Joe Tapine, who was an absolute freak last year and who got his minutes up later in the year and was averaged a stack, he's 60k cheaper. Yeah. I'm like, is it that much to go up to him? So it's Cotter, but it's far from a slam dunk.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Anyone going with Tapine, I'm a little bit jealous, to be honest.
And I'm scared.
Yeah, I'm scared, exactly.
Stefano versus Welch. This is the conversation a lot of people are having. I think Welch is about 170k more expensive than Stefano. We saw a little bit of go from Stefano on the weekend. That's enough for me. I'd be going with Stefano. He's coming off poor form. Welch is coming off an Achilles injury. I personally think this is Stefano every day of the week for me.
Yeah, I think Stefano too. I like Welch, and there's no reason why you probably can't have both. Just at that price point to save 150k. Look, I'm more confident that Welch is going to come out and average 50 plus than Stefano. Well more confident. At the same time, Stefano has more upside to average 60 odd. So I'm team Stefano at the moment, just at the price point, but I'm not loaded with confidence.
Yeah. Fair shout. We'll move to our hookers, Grant v. Robson. I think if you've got the money to go Grant, I think you have to. I think Robson hype is a little bit over the top.
I'm with you, mate. And we had a great chat about this on the Playbook podcast last night, and Desi Creek and the Spy, they were with Team Robson. I feel this is just a case of overthinking it. You've got the best hooker in the NRL, the best hooker in Supercoach, for an extra, 130 odd K more. I'm just Harry Grant all day.
Yeah, I just think that Robson has become a popular argument and people are just running with it instead of looking what's in front of them.
I don't know. It's Harry Grant, for God's sake. He's a freak.
And, mate, I'm going to stand by this. I think, even from watching Jaden Brayley, just the way that he played. He only played 20 minutes the other day and Newcastle were fucking all over the shot as soon as he went off the field. Spoke to some Knights players who are absolutely wrapping Jaden Brayley at the moment. I don't think this team can get by without him playing 80 minutes. Well, I'm standing by it. I would rather have him over Robson.
Why don't you show some ticker for once in your life and start with him then?
Every guy, we all know this, all right?
Brayley, just pick him.
Yeah, we'll see.
I really hope he comes out and just scores 170 in week 1 because he'll be 0% owned and you'll just be sitting there going, told you so, but also I don't have him. I just pick him.
It's very likely. I will say, if Tanah Boyd loses goal kicking, I think he's a very, very good chance to go into my side, especially now that Sonny Luke is MIA.
Yeah.
Interesting. Last one, Cheese versus Boyd. I have been saying for the last few weeks that I'm not convinced on Cheese at 9. I saw some things on the weekend that have filled me with confidence. Happy to swallow a bit of humble pride there. I'm getting more excited about Cheese. I don't think he's the absolute slam dunk that some people act like he is. But once again, I don't think he's a bad option. If Boyd doesn't have goal kicking, I'm not even having this conversation. Boyd with goal kicking, I think it's a little bit closer.
Yeah, but assuming Boyd's got goal kicking, Cheese isn't a slam dunk, nor is Tanah Boyd. So this is it's nowhere near as cut and dry picking either of these two in your starting side, particularly when there's great options around halfback and hooker. So again, it's probably gut feel more than anything, and it's going with class. He's a former Dally M hooker of the year. He's at the Sydney Roosters, who I'm tipping to win the premiership this season. I think he will just flourish with a change of scenery, the Cheese, new faces, new coach, all that sort of thing. And I just think he's going to come out firing. So, Cheese.
Yeah. All right, that do us?
That will do us, mate.